My TED Talk will be about the history of baskets. Yup, super exciting. Let's go on this journey. Kidding, it's about sarcasm. Now, with a raise of hands, who will think sarcasm is negative? Well, this TED Talk will be about changing your mind. Let me tell you a story. It's true and happened right here. It was lunchtime, and I was with my friend Liliana, and she tells me, "School is so boring." And I reply with, "Yes, because taking all of our stuff, moving to a new class, and learning a new subject every 37 minutes is boring." Now, as you can point out, that's sarcasm. And contrary to Webster's dictionary definition, I was not using it to cut or give pain. According to Oxford Languages, sarcasm is the use of irony to mock or convey contempt. But that dictionary definition is outdated. I asked some of the students at TEDxDePereMiddleSchool what sarcasm meant to them and got varied responses. A student responds with, "Sarcasm is a way to express your anger and annoyance without being rude." Another student thought it is being obnoxious. You choose to express your rage sneakily. A third individual thought it is you say something with an obvious intent to be false. A teacher responded with, "It is when someone is making a joke or a comment and exaggerates it to be funny." Now those first two definitions were more negative, and the last two were a little neutral. By the end of this talk, I would like you to come up with a definition of sarcasm that is positive. But lots of people in our school use sarcasm, so lots of us have practice. I sent out a form, and 276 people responded. Of those individuals, 4.6% of people never use sarcasm. That's the minority, as 47.9% of those who surveyed said occasionally or sometimes. But an additional 47.8% said often or very often. I fall into that last category. And that's just on a daily basis. Now, I won't bore you with how many people use sarcasm weekly, but you get the point. Sarcasm is so common, so why is it thought of as such a bad thing? According to Vanessa Van Edwards, sarcasm is caused by three things: insecurity, latent anger, and social awkwardness. How many of you think those are bad things? Good. Most, if not all, think those are bad things. Now, I get why we think sarcasm is wrong. One of the first things that pops up when you search for sarcasm is the article by Vanessa Van Edwards, after all the definitions, of course. It is titled Sarcasm, What It Is and Why It Hurts Us. Hurt is obviously bad, so in turn, we think sarcasm is bad, but it has so many good things about it. Like it can help you build a whole new level of trust in your already existing friendships. According to new research by Francisca Gino, sarcasm offers some important, overlooked psychological benefits. To create or decode sarcasm, both the expressors and recipients of sarcasm need to overcome the psychological distance between the literal and actual meanings of sarcasm. This is a process that is facilitated by abstraction, which in turn promotes creative thinking, said Gino. She's basically saying that although sarcasm is hard to understand at first, it helps your brain use creativity. And with practice and over time, you get better at sarcasm. Sarcasm also works amazingly with already applied friendships. If you use sarcasm with family or friends, there's less of a chance of people getting hurt or taking something the wrong way. Even if you get into an argument, both parties are less likely to get hurt. So if that's not positive, I don't know what is. Next, I want you to think of a situation where you're talking to a friend or family member, and you say, "You're so annoying," but in some sort of monotone voice. Your friend or family member can't pick out that it's sarcasm, but when you say, "You're so annoying," people can respond in multiple different ways without getting their feelings hurt. Now once again, I'd like you to imagine something. A world with no sarcasm. You can't make deep level connections. You can't joke with your friends. You can't even jokingly insult them. Not even gonna lie, if the world did not have sarcasm, me and my friends would barely have anything to talk about. You'd probably also not be as good at friends. Sarcasm can also bridge the gap between ages. For example, my teacher, Mr. Farrell, obviously older than I, and we have a very odd relationship between teacher and student. We insult each other, but we both know it's not real. So I made a JoJo classroom, and for those of you who don't know what a JoJo classroom is, it is a virtual classroom where you can add or take away points based on a student's behavior. So far, Mr. Farrell has a -6 points. I do give him points for good things, I promise. But this is not real. I like Mr. Farrell being my teacher, and if I'm being completely honest, he will probably have about 50 points by now, and I only had it for 2 weeks. Another example of how I can bridge the gap is with my grandpa. We both have very sarcastic personalities. I think he's the one where I got it from. But he will make jokes and insult me, and I'll do the same with him. Again, we both know it's not real, but it builds a relationship. Sarcasm is also something many people understand. And if they don't, it's not hard to teach them, unlike other things, such as the inner workings of a cell phone. With sarcasm, it's as simple as saying, well, sarcasm is when you say something you don't mean, and it's normally a joke with someone you're close with. But with phones, we don't get so lucky. Sarcasm is also widely used by adults and kids alike. It's even used by the media. One example is when Barack Obama was elected president. Instead of celebrating this momentous occasion with a title such as First African-American Man Elected President, they chose Black Man Given Nation's Worst Job. As most of us think the president would be a pretty cool job, I mean, it is probably one of the worst. You get shot at, sometimes at least. You have to make rules for around 300 million people and keep everyone happy. So, I mean, I guess it is part truth. But this just goes to show that no one was hurt, and Barack Obama knew about it. Now, as we near the end of this talk, I would like you to remember the task I gave you. To come up with a positive definition of sarcasm. Please raise your hand if you have a positive definition. Okay, so I see a few of you do not, so your task still stands. With these positive reasons to use sarcasm, please go to Moral and use it. Oh, and one last tidbit. Since I promised to talk about the history of baskets, it's actually one of the oldest known crafts.